friends, ladies and gentlemen, Puerto Bello Elementary School presents Virtual Moving Up and Graduation Ceremonies with the theme Strengthening the Quality of Education Amid the COVID-19 Pandemic. The processional.
danihon angay kagayod nga ipasigar ko. Subok inangga sa klima o panahon, kalinaw kauswagan, alungtaron, palambuon, bisan asa mudangat sa among pagpaling kamot, ikaw amo kanunay nga handumon, ikaw amo kanunay nga handumon. Puso
And now is a presentation of candidates for graduation by Mrs. Elia Ngoho Estremos, Principal 2 of Puerto Bello Elementary School, and to be followed by the confirmation and acceptance of graduates by Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, Schools Division Superintendent, by her authorized representative, Dr. Mercedita M. Arceliano, Public Schools District Supervisor of Tudela.
Dr. Mercedita M. Arceliano, the Tudela Public Schools District Supervisor and the representative of the Schools Division Superintendent of Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, I, as the principal of Puerto Bello Elementary School, have the honor to present these 59 candidates for graduation, of whom 38 are boys, 21 are girls. They have satisfactorily completed the minimum requirements prescribed by the Department of Education in the new normal elementary curriculum. They are now awaiting for your confirmation as graduates, and upon your confirmation, they are now eligible to transfer into the next level, higher level of education, which is the secondary level.
Good morning to all of us. By virtue of the authority delegated to me by the Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Marilyn S. Andales, based on facts and figures presented to me by your school head, Mrs. Elia N. Estremos, and on the assurance that you have satisfactorily completed the basic requirement for the K-12 curriculum, as per specification, I do hereby approve and confirm you as graduates this 15th day of July 2021 with all the rights, honors, and privileges thereunto appertaining. Therefore, you are now eligible for transfer and admission to any public and private secondary institution of the Republic of the Philippines. Should it be impossible for you to proceed to secondary, I now turn you over to your parents so that you can be useful citizen to your community and to our country as well. Congratulations and Godspeed.
And now is the awarding of diplomas by the graduates. Aljano Stephen Glenar Guzman, son of Mr. and Mrs. Glenn and May Aljano. Argomido AJ Casaverde, son of Mr. and Mrs. Adunes and Junalyn Argomido. Auditor RJ, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jezreel and Marian Auditor. Avenido J.L. Lazo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jovelito and Mary Jane Lazo. Avenido Michael Lazo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jovelito and Mary Jane Lazo. Balermo Kit Clade Dampios, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ruel and Gilda Balermo. Basarte Gilmar Bautista, son of Mr. and Mrs. Guillermo and Maribel Basarte. Batukan Ramjan Pagalan, son of Mr. and Mrs. Victorio and Tessie Batukan. Baudin Christian Joy Tampos, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ruel and Joylen Baudin. Biray Ryan James Murata, son of Mr. and Mrs. Roland and Milona Biray. Cartagena Mark James Gubalane, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jake and Mary Cartagena. Selmar Emelritz Llamas, son of Mr. and Mrs. Pedrito and Emily Silmar. Dampios Rolando Jr. Donaldo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rolando and Sherwin Dampios. Donaire Chris Julian Solis, son of Mr. and Mrs. Enrique and Margarita Donaire. Estremos Dale Clark Lefwayne Bellarmino, son of Mr. and Mrs. Presley and Iris Estremos. Gontinias Renz Daniel Montales, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ruben and Maren Gontinias. Impas Arven Dampios, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rami and Teresita Impas. Inato Francis Dave Lazo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Edwin and Melodina Inato. Modesto Eros Jave Sumalino, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rosberto and Evelyn Modisto. Montero Jemboy Linao, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rexilio and Jocelyn Montero. Montero Marque Talabok, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ricky and Maricho Montero. Moyano Mark Joseph Lencopines, son of Mr. and Mrs. Edalisa and Fabiano Moyano. Nieras Kemuel Espejo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Lucinia and Victory Nieras. Uday Franch Melve Legua, son of Mr. and Mrs. Annabel and Regan Uday. Oliveros Aris Dampios, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ambrosio and Luz Viminda Oliveros. Oliveros Tyrone Dave, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rani and Ana Oliveros. Panunshalman Carl John Estremos, son of Mr. and Mrs. Crystal Karen and Juan Panunshalman. Payot Arel Urong, nephew of Annabel Payot. Romagos Alfred John Pesquera, son of Mrs. Joyjen Romagos. Rosal DJ Kaya, son of Mr. and Mrs. Dicey and Priscilio Jr. Rosal. Sclafer Christian John Jucampo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Brian and Marichel Sclafer. Sixto John Errol Diseo, son of Mr. and Mrs. Elvie and Rodel Sixto. Acero Ayanel Florentino, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jerinel and Bevelyn Acero. Aligujo Henelen Rose Impas, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lucio and Hilda Aligujo. Bartoline Sheni May Palubon, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romanito Jr. and Michelle Bartoline. Bellarmino Angel J.B. Bulay, daughter of Mrs. Jean Bellarmino. Benitez Kathy Donaire, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fernando and Adriam Benitez. Dampius Gianna Gunugunog, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Wilfredo Jr. and Geraldine Dampius. Diaz Charina Laika Hervasio, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Elmer and Edita Diaz. Donaire Reina Jane Dunduyano, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey and Katrina Donaire. Estremas Marilo Buenaflor, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Luis and Maria Janeth Estremos. Granada Jana Kiza Talabok, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Elson and Cecilia Granada. Ginocor Crizel Florentino, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christy and Lizelle Ginocor. Gontinias Angel May Colminas, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Victor and Sardita Gontinias. Gontinias Jessamay Salenda, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ernesto and Jocelyn Gontinias. Wete Rodilen Mabulay, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Harvey and Leia Wete. Lariba Mary Fretzar Jocampo, daughter of Mrs. Cherelle Fretzi Lariba. Luchavez Aikeshili Otida, daughter of Mrs. Mylene Luchavez. Maghanoy Hyacinth Donaire, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rani and Marvick Maghanoy. Molinas Antoinette Faith Bulias, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo and Angela Molinas. Montero Christy Angeli Gulane, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Terso Angela Montero. Otero Ashley Nicole Caballero, granddaughter of Mrs. Carmelita Caballero. Panturas Avril Cadiz, daughter of Mrs. Bebita Pantoras. Sultan Marinel Jed Cerato, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Dominador and Elmi Sultan. Sumalinog Daphne Uwamar, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edmond and Daisy Sumalinog. Sumalinog Jillian Grace Libarios, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Renel and Feby Sumalinog. Velasco Danica Jean Orhe, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Gregg and Lydia Velasco. Llamas Quincy Cabrera, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Anisito and Guillermo Llamas. And now, let us all hear a graduation message coming from our very own Department of Education Secretary, Leonor Magtoles Briones.
Good day to each and everyone who is attending virtually present at this time of our graduation ceremonies for our beloved and very precious graduates for the school year which ends at this time. First of all, I'd like to greet the parents and family members without whose sacrifices, whose reminders, and whose participation in the learning process for our graduates have resulted in this culmination program. This year, your role has changed drastically, where we've always believed that the matter of educating our children rests nearly exclusively on our teachers and our staff. This time, you parents, you family members, you who are in the households of our learners have expanded your role and contributed to this wonderful day wherein finally, our learners are graduating in this culmination exercise. So, congratulations, because this year has not been very easy, has not been a picnic for our teachers, for our family members, as well, especially the parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and all who have contributed to the achievement of our learners at this time. So, maraming salamat at congratulations, parents and family members. Mas malaki ang role ninyo at this time compared to earlier graduation exercises. Secondly, I would also like to greet our teachers, without whose very careful review and careful supervision of the work of our pupils and our learners, this event would not be taking place at all. And so, thank you, teachers. Your role has also expanded. In addition to seeing to it that the modules are faithfully followed, the assignments are correctly implemented, and the learners are truly learning, and you have had to deal with new ways of assessing the performance also of the learners. So, congratulations, teachers, for enduring, for your patience, for your love for our learners, and your willingness to engage in a way and methods of teaching which are different from those which are used to. Assessment must have been especially difficult for you, especially since you were not able to see most of the time our students in face-to-face meetings, and most of the meetings, of course, were virtual. We'd also like to thank the local government units for their interest, for their cooperation, and for their continuing contributions to the needs of education, even as our children do not go to school. Your donations of material as well as financial resources at this time are most welcome, and your advice has been taken seriously not only by our teachers, by our school officials, but also by our officials in the Department of Education. We continually talk with local government units, especially in times of disaster, in times of great need for classrooms, for space, and for responses to unforeseen emergencies. Thank you, local government units. But of course, most of the congratulatory greetings fall on the deserving graduate. Each and every one of you is truly special. You are different from the other graduates who have passed through the portals of your school. You went to school practically without seeing your teachers, if at all. You went to school with your parents, your mothers, and your fathers hovering over your shoulders and seeing to it that you are able to complete your assignments. You are completing your studies at a time when examinations and assessments are different. You are culminating these long months of hard work at this time, even as you have to do family chores, even as you are distracted, and even as your world has turned upside down, and it seems and it appears as if we don't know what the future holds and what will happen next. But you have persevered, and now you are ready to graduate. And therefore, you deserve each and every bit of congratulations from us in the Department of Education, from your parents and family members, your teachers, from the officials in local government, as well as in the parent teachers associations. You deserve each and every single congratulatory pat on your back, each hug virtually, of course, and each greeting, which I am sure you are also receiving virtually. I don't know if you will remember this event many, many years from now. I have tried to recall myself who our graduation speaker was when I finished high school and when I finished my college studies. All I remember is that the graduation speaker was someone important, someone who was invited because that someone is supposed to give a message. What was more important to us graduates at that time was the excitement of the celebrations, the happiness and the joy of our parents, the sadness of parting from our classmates and from our teachers, and the enjoyment of all the graduation events that usually take place come commencement day. When I was a college student, we had a series of events which were designed to embed in our minds, which were designed to help us remember and not forget our days in college. We would spend one whole day going around the campus, visiting the classrooms, saying goodbye to our teachers, and sharing memories. We would have bonfires to say goodbye to each other. We had baccalaureate services where we committed ourselves to God and we prayed for guidance when we go out into the world. So many celebrations, and the speaker, of course, is the least important and easily forgotten component of the graduation exercise. Nonetheless, I will exert all efforts to share with you what I see are things or issues which a graduate should remember and recall. I have said that you are very special. You are very different. You are pioneering. There has been no other class like your class. There has been no other graduate like you as a graduating student because you are the very first graduate of the blended learning response to education in the Philippines. And so you ask yourself, what awaits you in the world outside. You can either work because the kind of curriculum you survived and underwent as a student will enable you to go to work if you wish to go to work. Some of you will proceed to further studies, and this would be a wonderful thing because there are many opportunities for further expanding your knowledge, for further answering and looking for explanations of issues, events that make you curious, especially in science, in technology, and also in the arts. So you can work, you can go to further studies, and perhaps some of you will settle down, hopefully not too soon, so you can pursue what you really want to do. So today, this is why we call this exercise a commencement exercise. It's not the end of our studies. It's not the end of all our efforts with blended learning, with modules, with floods, with earthquakes, and of course with COVID. It's a commencement of doors opening to you. More doors will be opened because you are a graduate. You can work, you can proceed for further studies, you can help your parents, and you can perhaps look for opportunities to do what you have always wanted to do, whether at work, whether at advanced studies, whether at learning more in science and technology, in mathematics, and in the arts. All of these opportunities are available to you. More doors are being opened. I hope you will select the door which arouses your curiosity, the door which will help you know more about this world, and the door which will allow you to contribute to the development of our country and contribute whatever we can to solve our problems and our challenges. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Congratulations to you, parents and family members. Congratulations to you, teachers. When I was chair of the board of Silliman University, each time we had graduation ceremonies, during the baccalaureate and during commencement itself, I would cry. I would cry because you are sending out into the world a new batch of graduates, and we want to be sure that what is awaiting them is appropriate. We want to be sure that they are ready for what awaits them when they select which door to open. And so we tell you, go out to the world, do whatever you want to do. God be with you, and be assured that all of us love each and every one of you. Congratulations.
And now, let us all hear again another graduation message coming from our very own Regional Director of Region 7, Dr. Salustiano T. Jimenez.
Greetings of love and peace to each and every one. School year 2020-2021 has been the most challenging year in education. All been struggling to survive in all aspects. But our beloved Secretary Leonor Magtulis Briones lead the baton that education must continue amidst whatever crisis we will be facing. And so, here we are, celebrating one of the most precious accomplishment that you have, your graduation and moving up ceremonies. It is one fleeting sense of pride and joy to be able to celebrate with all of you for your victory, bravery, resilience, perseverance, and commitment that push you to experience what we have today. So our beloved, most precious gems, our dear learners, just wanted to let you know that you are doing great. It is not easy to be learners with all the pressures in today's world. The more in these trying times due to pandemic. How you hurdle your lessons remotely through distance learning of varied modalities, the fear and scare of the virus due to negative publicity, and many more. But you survive and victorious. So, don't lose your heart if you find things difficult. Today, the world is so tested. It is a high time that you put all your learnings into action. Never be a bystander watching as the world takes a paradigm shift. Take the wheel. Collectively, the youth are stronger than any pandemic known to men. Remember, everyone is a student of life as we all keep learning something or the other throughout our lives. So, keep the faith and believe in yourselves. Work hard and work smart too. And with the right focus and determination, you will see that goals are not impossible to achieve. Just have a clear plan, and whatever detours come your way, don't be afraid. Face them with conviction that those are part of the pitfalls where we cannot evade. So be strong and let your education and learnings with God be your shield. And don't forget to thank the most honest persons in your life. Those who can say and tell you exactly what you are doing, either good or bad. Those who guide you sincerely to the path where you want to walk on. Who always with you in times of your successes and downfalls. They are your parents, teachers, relatives, and best friend. So learners, congratulations, you hit the mark on your timeline. To all the parents and guardians out there, your contribution towards the realization of the once dreams of your children is so great. Sustain it, and you will see and harvest the fruits of it sooner than later. So thank you for partnering with DepEd through your children's education. So to all of you, congratulations. To the school, I know how you struggle also, especially that the world was shocked of what happened and nobody was prepared. There were so many hows and whys, but you are able to navigate it until reaching its destination. So whatever is the experience and hardships, what is more important is the outcome of what you have done. That's why my salute to you. To our teachers, school heads, supervisors, and non-teaching personnel, you did a great job worthy of emulation. I am proud of you. To the SDOs, I am so happy of what your division accomplished for school year 2020-2021. Your efforts doesn't go to vain. Now it comes into fruition. So to all, kudos. To everyone, always have the smile in you. See miracles in life every day, and you will be filled with positivity in thoughts and actions. Congratulations once again. Keep safe and God bless everyone.
At this point of time, let us all hear a graduation speech coming from Christian John Jucampo Slafer.
Greetings to our district supervisor, Mrs. Mercedita Arquilano, school administration, especially our beloved principal of Portobello Elementary School, Mrs. Elia N. Estremos, our barangay captain of Portobello, Honorable Manolito Montero, Education Committee Chairman, Honorable Teresita Bartolini, teachers, parents, my fellow graduates, a pleasant day to all of us. My name is Christian John Schleifer. I am a grade 6 student at Portobello Elementary School in the great town of Tudela, Camotes, Cebu, Philippines. Although most of us have never met, we all share one thing in common. We have all been affected in some way by COVID-19. All of our lives, community, schools, family, jobs, businesses, and our normal way of life. Throughout the last 18 months, we have had restrictions in travel, social gatherings, mandatory wearing face masks, face shields, and no face-to-face classes in our school. The negative aspects of this is that we are not able to go to school together anymore, enjoy classroom activities, playing with classmates, and invaluable face-to-face guidance from our wonderful teachers who still go to class every day to prepare modules and at-home activities. The positive side of this is that we get to spend more time with our families and also get them involved with our schoolwork. Sometimes, I wonder who is teaching who. My message to you, my classmates and friends, is to stay positive and stay healthy and enjoy this time with your family. Have patience, for hopefully this pandemic will soon end and we can all look forward to going back to school, being together once again. We all want to give thanks to our frontliners, teachers, government officials, and our parents who are all striving to make our lives just a little bit better through this COVID-19 pandemic. Be safe, God bless, and remember, it's still more fun in the Philippines. See ya!
And now, to lead the Pledge of Loyalty, let us have Miss Hyacinth D. Maghanoy.
Pledge of Loyalty. We, the 2020-2021 graduates of Portobello Elementary School, do hereby pledge to implore the divine providence that we may be filled with a spirit of responsibility and be given the strength to hold high the torch of education, to consecrate our finest thoughts to our alma mater, and to struggle for high ideals and sacred tradition of our country, so that in all this we may make our country a home where freedom and equality reign supreme. So help us God.
And now, let us all hear the graduation song of the graduates.
Ang mga alaalang lumipas, tila ba kailan lang nang tayo'y mga tayo ay magwawalay upang lakbayin ang landas patungo sa ating bukas. Masakit man sa damdamin, iwanan ang nakaraan. Ngunit dahil sa munting pangarap, kailangan nating maglakbay. Paalam na aking kaibigan, guro at kamag-aral. Dala ko ang alaala na sa ating nagdaan. Ngunit nating mga pangarap, dalangin ko sa may kapal. Naway sa panibagong bukas, tayo ay magpaalam na aking kaibigan, guro at kamag-aral. Dala ko ang alaala na sa ating nagdaan. Ngunit nating mga pangarap, dalangin ko sa may kapal. Naway sa panibagong bukas, tayo ay
Friends, ladies and gentlemen, the recession now.